Welcome to Ghost Storybook, the best collection of true ghost stories. Today's story is Crying at Cemetery. So this happened a few years ago with my sister, her friends, and me. Well, one day when me and my sister was in high school, we were at our house and it was getting dark, and she said if I wanted to go chill with her and her friends, so I said yeah. Then, when we got there, I didn't know what they planned, but they wanted to go ghost hunting at this cemetery in the small town, about 1.5 hours outside of Phoenix. So I was like, okay, and we were driving, and when we made it there, it was the creepiest cemetery I've seen. It looked like one of those cemetery from an 80s horror film with fog, and it was just plain creepy. When you first enter, the road loops are a big hill, and you drive around till you get to the top. On the way up, you can literally roll down your window and touch a tombstone. That's how close they are. Anyways, when you get to the top, on half of the view is the cemetery with trees lining around 180 degrees, and the other 180 degrees is a cliff where you can see the small town. The moon was full, so you can basically see around, and the lining of trees, which is about 100 feet away, but tombstone around too. So we parked in from this big statue of an angel, and at first we weren't scared, but then my sister's friend and her friend's boyfriend took out a Ouija board. They put it on top of this tomb, and they were saying stuff to the person tombstone, and at first it was basic who, what, and if you're there questions, but it didn't respond. So they started asking mean questions, saying they're a pussy, aren't real, and stuff to piss off the spirit. So my sister and her other friend was waiting by the car because we don't mess with that kind of stuff at all, and it was quiet at first. Then, where the trees were, we heard like a group of teenagers laughing. At first, I thought it was probably some other teens that came ghost hunting too, or something, so we ignored them. Then out of nowhere, we hear a bloody scream. Right when we heard that scream, you can hear crying all around where the trees were, and I couldn't pinpoint exactly where the crying was coming from because it seems like a bunch of crying in one coming from all around where the trees were. Then with the crying, you can hear laughing, and it sounded like it was getting closer and closer, coming from the left and then to the right. At that point, me and my sister and the other friend was around in the car from being scared, and her other friend and her boyfriend finally stopped, and we started to leave. That was the scariest experience I've ever had before, and wouldn't go back. Later, my sister's friends, the ones who were playing with the Ouija board, both of them lived together, and after that day, they have been having experiences in their apartment. In one of the rooms, they call it the cold room because it won't get warm whatsoever, and the doors would always slam, and they would hear someone talking in that room. But they have played with the board many times, but personally, I would never touch one after experiencing and knowing what kind of things would it open up and drew the attention of some wandering beings. Thank you for listening. Subscribe us for more stories.